Hi, my name is Claribel Avila. I am the co-founder of Panamia Club. Panamia Club is a nonprofit based in South Florida that is connecting everything, all initiatives across the board here in South Florida. So as businesses, creators, organizations, connecting that with locals who are interested in learning more.
Diversified game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, I'm going to give you guys some game that's going to help you connect. My guest, Claribel, is going to let you know, especially if you're a transplant or maybe you've just, been in a bubble trying to stay out of trouble, what her club that you just heard about is doing, how you as a person, as a business, just as a community member can benefit and get involved. With unity, we all win is what we say over here. So Claribel, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy that our schedules finally aligned and I'm here with you.
I am too. Can you tell people, because like when I look online, everybody is an entrepreneur. A lot of people, day one have already become super rich, wealthy, retired their kids, their unborn kids, their parents. But they still say, I need to go out there and network. For what reasons? Y'all know say. I don't know. But if you're already rich and wealthy, but for those who are still thriving and trying, why did you feel a need to create this club and what do you do?
Yeah, so I think that one of the biggest needs right now for our communities and for locals is a space for people to connect really authentically with one another. I mean, there are these tech platforms that are already built and we're connecting on them. However, they're not optimized for connection. And so we saw like an influx of people during COVID. I myself, one of them, I moved here in 2021. And when I first moved here, it was extremely difficult to find my people. It was hard to sort of like break into the art scene, really understand. You hear so much about Miami having this vibrant community. We see an influx of also capital coming into the city, but it's also a little bit gatekeeping. And so I the platform that I have developed for the past 3 years is South Florida's first hyper local connection platform. So that means that if you're interested in getting resources for your business, in connecting with local artist collectives, getting to know people that are doing similar things to you and yourself, wanting to volunteer because you want to find out what's happening within like your neighborhood and meeting those people. It's a place where all of those things you can find really easily. And we're building more infrastructure to sort of like make it even more intuitive, leveraging technologies that already exist, but that haven't been done in a community first, connection first sort of way.
Awesome. Let the people know, where were you coming from? What city, state were you coming from? So they can kind of get an idea of, were you coming from the big city, like, from New York to Atlanta? Where were you coming from?
I was born in Central Florida, in a very small town called DeLand. People kind of get a kick out of that, so we're all from DeLand. But I'm actually from DeLand, Florida. It's sort of between Orlando and Daytona Beach. Grew up there. My parents are Puerto Rican. So community, I saw community like that vibrant community of Latinos, of people helping one another, of always having that sort of that community to really back them up. Went to school in Boston, so I moved there. I got a bachelor's of economics there. And then it was terribly cold. I did not like it. And so I made my way back here. And I moved to South Florida, actually to Miami, really not really liking the idea of it, but just knowing that I wanted to find more. My intention was to stay for about a year, and here I am 4 years later, actually quite in love with the space.
You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. 𝐿ionairex.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit 𝐿ionairex.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Didn't you have a stint also in London? I don't know if you're in King's Cross.
Yes, yes. So I spent 3 months in London. I also really liked it there as well. I think there's a lot more arts, and the scene there is I think a little bit, well, it's older than Miami, right? It's like a city that has been around for a long time. And so I think one of the differences that really stuck out to me when I moved here was just um how young this place is. I mean, even when I went to Boston, I also lived in Sevilla in Spain, working there for a tech startup. And what I felt when I was in these cities was that it already had sort of like the culture. It already had like those bedrock institutions of connecting people, of bridging gaps, both like for social benefit needs, but also entrepreneurial. And I think something that really stuck out to me in Miami is that we're still creating that culture now. We're still trying to figure out who we are, what we value, what we stand for, how we want to organize ourselves. And that was really exciting for me as someone who's like very much like solutions driven and entrepreneurial myself. That was always that stuck out to me. I really enjoy that sort of feature of Miami.
And and why the arts? Are you an artist yourself? And if so, what is your, your medium? What do you do?
Yeah, so I think first of all, I think art is sort of like a lens that we can use to view the world. I I did do like a photojournalism class when I was in London. I didn't consider myself an artist at that time, but ever since coming to Miami, I think that arts is such an accessible way for us to express ourselves and for us to really get creative, not just like with art, but also in our day to day. I think I've learned the most. If there's a community I've learned the most from, in Miami, I would say it is like the artists and the way that they and myself can look at something and create an idea out of nothing. And I think like entrepreneurs sort of share that with artists where they can see like a blank canvas and imagine something beautiful on it. And sort of like put together these like really wonky pieces to create something that's like, I don't know, beautiful.
And that's what, South Florida, especially Miami, is known for, is the beauty of and you had talked about, gatekeepers, and every place can be cliquish, but Miami can't, some can say, oh, I don't fit in. I don't, if I don't have the abs, if I don't have this, I have to pick my audience. And there are so many different type of chambers of different sorts. There's like, throughout South Florida, there's more than a handful, maybe two handfuls of just Latin chambers alone. And how did you find your tribe of people that you wanted, or how did they find you?
Hmm. That's a great question. I think it's a little bit of like trial and error. It is about really putting yourself out there in a place of uncomfortability. And meeting people that are very different than yourself. Because if you're just going to networking events that, meet the idea of yourself that you have, then you will always remain in sort of that bubble. And I think the beauty of this place is that it gives you the ability to reinvent yourself. There are opportunities here for you to try new things that don't break the bank. There's so many events that are happening that are free or that are low cost and really accessible with communities that you might like not have thought. I think that's also one of the reasons that I think art is such a powerful force for connection, because when you get into a room and it's an art um sort of centric event, you really don't know the types of people that are pulling in. And so you start having these conversations around a table where you're all in a sort of a vulnerable place, creating art that a lot of us don't really consider ourselves artists. So we're already a little bit uncomfortable. And then we find out that there's a lot of things that we have similar to the people around us. And I think that like that connection, sort of like in that self-discovery is something that um really I've really enjoyed. I mean, I've gone to the chambers, I've gone to BNI, and I've gone to some of these other events. And I think people also need to be a little bit more experimental and take a little bit more ownership over, you can also organize your own events. There are people that are very in whatever niche that you are interested in. There are people that are out here looking for events. And so I didn't really see myself as an event organizer, but at this point I have like around 24 events under my belt. And it's just honestly creating as you go.
Are you a successful entrepreneur or one in training? You've got the vision, but do you have the right partner to build your brand, your team, and your future online and off? At 𝐶PRfirm.com, we offer expert consulting, financial guidance, and life coaching because we believe in doing life with our clients. After all, what is it for a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Founded by 𝐘𝐨𝐵𝐿, we help our clients not only succeed, but plan to retire rich. Your business deserves the best. Start building your legacy today at 𝐶PRfirm.com.
And I usually ask people later on, but it sounds like this just started as a passion project. And I don't know if you said I want to make a whole bunch of money on it, but I ask everybody what is their community give back that they're doing or that they would like to do, and how can the community help with that? Would you consider this your community give back, or is this all business and you're making a ton of money?
Mm. This is it started out as a passion project and then it grew from there. I think it has become like a very big passion of mine. I am not making like a ton of money. I've seen people give out of abundance, and sort of like that, the difference between giving from a place of like abundance versus scarcity is huge. And I think that that's like what you attract as well. And so yeah, this started off as like me and my friend, I mentioned I'm a co-founder, me and my friend meeting at a farmer's market. And then she was selling artware that she had designed herself. She does all the branding for the organization, and I was selling flavored honey. Um, and so we met, and it was one of my first markets I had ever attended in Miami. And we met, and we were sort of exchanging information, like details about how we did our marketing or how we worked on Square. And we realized that like that system of support was so vital in sort of like pushing the needle for us and for our business. And so we wanted to sort of create a system around that where other people feel that support, because there are resources out there, but without the tech framework for people to connect and to be able to find them, it's really hard and it's really daunting. And being an entrepreneur is isolating. And so this is something that, yes, I'm passionate about. And my goal is to not just have this impact South Florida. My goal is for it to also expand and to be a way for people to connect in other regions as well. I would love to take this project to Puerto Rico. There's a lot of like agricultural or ecotourism, a lot of like artisans creating amazing things out there. And so I think if we have a way to present ourselves to the world in a united front where we're easier to access, we have more exposure, I think that people will be able to appreciate our arts and culture that much more.
Okay. So if there is another community give back, or something else you see, because people do all type of sort of things to help the community, and people say, "Oh, what are you doing?" But it's like, how can the community help? So I like to highlight those things in case someone says, "Oh, I had that idea too. Let me support," whether it's financially or sharing something. So I'll ask you, again, if there is a community give back that you haven't mentioned that you are doing or like to do in the future, please let it be known.
Yeah. So, wow, I have a lot of ways for you to get involved. First is that we are a nonprofit, so like we would love to get donations. We also are sort of like working as a funnel for capital to sort of like, if you're interested in donating to any sort of cause, like we started off as a directory. Right now we have over 700 like businesses, creatives, and organizations on our directory. A lot of these collectives are doing a lot of the grassroots work that's happening in Miami is from an unincorporated like organizations, very, very grassroots that are like creating impact, but maybe don't have nonprofit standing. And so like if you want to like put your money where your mouth is and sort of like give back to community, and you are in a place where you can do that financially, then like we should talk, because I have like a really good understanding of like the sort of organizations that could really benefit from it. The other thing that people can do is like, we are a budding nonprofit and there are ways to get involved in ways that don't require capital. We'd love to connect with people who can like help structure a little bit like more of the legal or the financial things. And also our platform serves also as like an incubator. So we have projects from community members who like have ideas. Just like listing off the top of my head, we have like someone who started a mixed media journal that just rolled out their first volume, their first publication that includes like, I believe 20 local artists, poets, writers. And so that's like a project that also you can help like fund. We also have like a local music distribution program where we're connecting local venues with playlists that like support local music or like showcase local musicians, so that, you know, you're not just listening to top 100. You also like get a feel for who is creating music in your area. I have plans to create a broadcast channel that includes more narratives and films and little docuseries about culture and arts in South Florida. And so this is a project that's like very expansive. And so I think my ask for viewers is to really like take ownership of the sort of world and the sort of South Florida that you want to see. If there's something that you want to create, I mean, this is a tech platform that is going to help you do that. And we have sort of like, we're good at connecting. So like we're able to help you do that. And if you don't, you feel like you're a creative and you just want to like give back and to an organization that is really like trying to sort of shift the ways that we consume into a more like a little bit more equitable way, where we're highlighting, you know, what we have locally growing in our backyard, like we would love the financial support as well.
Hello everyone, join us on an exciting journey to explore the world Cameroon. London and Sydney will take you explore Cameroon, the heart of Africa. Experience the vibrant culture, nature and traditions, from Yaoundé market to rainforest adventures. Every page na new discovery. Enjoy the Cameroonian food, music and wildlife with our explorers. This book na true celebration of Cameroon spirit. Get your copy now. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through your library and bookstores here in Grants Park. Don't miss this adventure.
And you talking about tech, you know, you can't go a day without hearing about AI, at least in my house. Can you talk about the tech? You guys have your own software, you guys creating agents for, you know, that members like, talk about the tech and what you guys want to do, because Miami is, you know, if you guys don't know, it has tech aspects, and there are even VC that only focus on tech that want to give you money, like Florida funders. So talk about the tech side of it, please.
Yeah, for sure. So we, like I said, we started as a directory. And so that is, you know, keyword searchable. We want to onboard across all, so Florida, like all businesses, creators, and organizations. So that's another way that you can join, is like by subscribing. It's free to sign up to the directory. And so that's the website. But we recently, something that's very exciting, I'll tell you something that not a lot of people know because we haven't hard launched it, is that we partnered up with an organization out of Fort Lauderdale called AllPeep, and they do white label social media platforms. And so here locally, and so we have officially soft launched also like a local social media platform where locals can create groups, they can connect with local initiatives. It is not like revolutionary tech, but it is tech that like is being built in a very different way, specifically for a local community to meet and to build. And so I'm very excited about that. We have plans to sort of like leverage the data that we're collecting to make it just that much easier to support. For example, like depending like what sort of posts you like and events you attend, maybe suggesting other events, maybe suggesting people that you need to get in contact with, people that are doing similar things as yourself. Um, and so yeah, we've partnered. I've been to a couple. I want to plug actually um the the Center for Black Innovation over at Overtown. They're doing a lot of great things for tech entrepreneurs, and I've gone to a couple of their networking meetings, and they're doing great things. So yeah, I myself don't have like a tech background, and so I love meeting people who are in that space.
Well, nowadays you don't need a tech background. You can just be a vibe coder just by prompting into, different websites and AllPeep, I think, is kind of like the school.com platform where, people can talk amongst each other. And so I definitely can see if you got an audience and they all want to talk to each other and feed off, there's ways to monetize that. Where doesn't it feel good where you don't have to have 1 million followers now to make a decent living if your people are engaged with your groups? How can they join your all peeps? I know you haven't done the hard launch, but how can they join it and tap in?
Yeah, so on our Instagram is go to .panamia.club. We if you go to the links in the bio, it's the top one. And so we currently have about like 55 users. We've sort of launched it specifically during like community events that we put on. So we had like a filmmaker meetup recently, a couple are creative mixers. But really we're going to groups that are currently used. I don't know if this is the case for you, but I am in 1 million WhatsApp chats and they're always going off. And I really wish that there was like a better way to sort of like share information in a way that was more intuitive, that had like the ability to do threads. And so that's our next phase, is to going to these WhatsApp groups, so people that have built communities but that don't necessarily have like these tech platforms are not really built too much for them. The one thing I will say about the social media platform is that it's in its early stage, and I really want it to be a collaborative effort. So right now we're in the process of like talking to AllPeep and figuring out exactly what we want the platform to look like, the functions that we really prioritize. And so like if you get on the app now, you have a voice. You have the ability to sort of shape like what this platform looks like. We're really interested in getting that community feedback, and sort of like building something that is serving the needs of the people using it specifically, not just like what I envision in my head.
In in your head, because the translation of the name, people might say, "Oh, is this a Panamanian group?" She says she's from Puerto Rico. Does Pana mean friend, buddy, bro? Like, how did you get the name?
Yeah, Pana does mean friend. So I'm Puerto Rican. My co-founder is Venezuelan. And so in a lot of Caribbean places, Pana means friend. Pana means homie. And so like something that has been at like the core of our organization is the tagline like Yo tu pana, tú la mía. So it's like, I am your friend and you are mine. And so how do we build together knowing that we're coming from that same place? From like, hey, I'm invested in your success and you're invested in mine. And now that we have that understanding, let's make things happen, sort of thing. But we have gotten that question a lot.
Okay, yeah, because things are so It's beautiful out here in South Florida, but I find things can be sometimes, segregated. First thing people want to know is where you're from. Donde eres? It's like, can't get. You see me in my Mexican shirt just because I told you the issues that I was dealing with, and I had to throw something on real quick. But people say, wait, you mean you're not? And then you can fill in the blank, and I can be whatever I am, But I am a happy, proud resident of Mexico as well, as a citizen of Sierra Leone. So you guys, as an American, I just I want to be traveling and moving and grooving. But I could see people thinking, oh, this is for the Panamanians only. Like, you can't go to a Panamanian group or something like. It's the
Yeah.
problem.
No, 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 no. I mean, we really want this to be a project that expands to other places. I think like we call ourselves sort of like a portal to local culture. I think a lot of times now when people travel, they want to connect with like authentic culture. They're like, I think we're sort of like over the sort of like regurgitated content that we're seeing on like Instagram and social media platforms, and we want something that feels like we connected to place. Like those are people that we're going to visit. There's a story behind like the products that we buy. There's a story behind the establishments that we go to. And so I think that that's what we're craving. We're craving connection. We're craving narrative and stories so that we can fill up our lives and so that they feel like full. And so this is like our attempt to do that here in South Florida. Is like people who come to South Florida, how do they leave South Florida being like, wow, I went to events that like enriched me, but also I know like now a side of Miami that's very unique and I feel very special to have like been a part of that. Uh, so yeah, maybe we will go to Mexico next.
Hey, why not? It's the easiest residency to get in the world right now. It's going to get more and more complicated because, things change. And I always blame Californians, which that's where I'm born, and New Yorkers, wherever they start going places, prices start going up. We've seen that true here in Florida. Because we don't buy one house, we have to buy more. It's just in the DNA to spend. But talking about spending and the artists you're dealing with and the different young people I'm seeing online on your Instagram and on the website, Miami is a place where tourists come to blow all of their savings, kind of like Vegas. What are you seeing as far as like the young people? I have a platform, 𝐿ionaire_x.ai, which this also will be on there for those members. But what are you seeing like with young people in their money? Are they understanding, I'm gonna have to retire someday, and I don't always get to choose when I get well or when I get sick or when I, lose a job. Do you see like folks waking it up? Because I can tell you 40 and up are now just getting it like, oh, they were right. We got to save some of this. Can't get all the Coach, Louis, Gucci, Starbucks, and fill in the blank. What is your opinion on that?
I think that, young people are, I'm not entirely sure of the exact expression, but they're up against a wall and a rock. Like there are, as much as Miami is like a place where you can really make yourself and you can make yourself as an entrepreneur, jobs are, a little bit scarce and it's harder now, to save because there isn't, that capital. And I think what you're seeing is ingenuity from young people is like understanding our world and where we currently are. And I think more than like saving, because I think that people are saving in the sense that they're moving in with friends, like they're not able to have their own apartment. Um they're thinking a lot more collectively, not just because like that's a trend, but because they're being forced to, because there isn't as much like capital flowing to like local people. And so what I see more than anything is that people want to spend in a way that aligns with their values. And you see that especially with young people. And I mean, Miami is one of the cities where you look outside and you see climate change. Like we have day after day after day of extreme heat. Like wherever you stand politically, Miami, you can't escape the fact that like we see our beaches being sort of like having I can't go to the beach now because there's like seaweed that's decaying and it's making the beaches like unsafe, you know. So it's something so I think, you know, people are waking up to it, especially young people, especially with the technology and like the sharing of information. But it is that shift of like, okay, I want to invest the money that I do have, the money that is coming to me. I want to make sure that it's going to the right place. And so I think that's why you're seeing like the alt scene really taking off in Miami. You're seeing like sort of a renaissance in the arts because a lot of people are deciding to forego a night in space and just go to places where like I went to an event recently called Forever Glades, and it was about like raising funds for efforts to stop the detention center that's currently being built there. And it was packed with people that are there, you know, on a Saturday night in the rain, as opposed to, you know, being at a club. I think that like you're seeing a sort of a shift in the party scene that we see as being not just for party, but a place where people can have conversations with like-minded people. And I think that that's like a shift that, um, you know, is like really transcending a lot of spaces right now in Miami for because we still want to shake ass and we still want to have joy and we still want to connect with friends. But how do we do that in a way that like also enriches our lives? We also leave feeling kind of full and we leave not feeling alone in our feelings and in our sort of like despair. So that's like sort of the trend I'm seeing with young people.
Okay. And yeah, the being alone, it's you know, we're a day away or maybe 10 days away from humanoid robot, you know, commercials. Get your humanoid friend right now. It's going to be my buddy back. Oh, I'm from the 80s, y'all. You know, it's going to be my buddy, but the humanoid version. And we've seen the movies. Megan Wood did a great one, y'all, to show you what could be coming because of loneliness and, you know, where are we at, you know, with that with the artists because artists are always a little lonely even in crowded rooms and that's why they do art. You know, is there to the artist scene, do we have like our favorite mental health therapist or psychiatrist like Dr. Delvina Thomas out there? Like what's like what are you seeing on that side?
That's a really interesting question. Because you know, I'm seeing mental health and therapy as being like actually like very talked about and very normalized practice. I'm very excited to say that like I know of a lot of people that go to therapy and a lot of artists that are going and getting like healthcare specifically so they can seek these like mental health um things. I actually connected with an app recently based locally here that is creating an app for mental wellness specifically around community, specifically around like building community. And so I think like a lot of people are a lot of people are lonely. A lot of people are lonely. And it's crazy to say that when we have 6 million people in South Florida, right? And we live like next to so many people. Um, but I think that once you get a taste of what community can really do for you and how your life can be expanded and the benefits of community, I think that that's like a really transformational moment for people. And that's why they go out and they're seeking these things. Like I'll plug another organization called We Met in Miami that does events all the time for people who are lonely, for people who want to meet other people. And so I think the conversation too is around, so we have mental health like practitioners that are helping us sort of like create the language around what we're feeling and have like and are able to help us from an objective place. But then there's community, and community comes with, it's not just like like the perfect solution either. Like it is really made up of people. And so for community, it's like it's also not free. It's not transactional, because it's not like we pay into community and we can get things back, but it does require us to think like, okay, how do I show up? How do I unlearn some of the behaviors that sort of keep me from connecting with others? It means like being uncomfortable and having conversations sometimes with people who think differently than us and holding ourselves accountable as well. So I think in the in for especially for young people, those are big conversations that are happening right now is like, okay, community is what we make of it. How do we create communities that are safe and cultures of accountability so that we can show up and we can invest in a way that we feel like our safe a safe investment. We're every single time we go outside and we spend time with people, that's also an investment. I mean, I think you talked about like capital. I think that something that's really important now is social capital. Like who do you know and who can you rely on? Who can you count on? Um, there was a big debate online about like, oh, I pay for Uber to take me to the airport because I don't want to like um inconvenience my friends. And it's like, yes, you can, but also like I like to be inconvenienced and have conversations with my friends as well. And so it's like community, how do we shape community and how can we make it something that is impervious to like, I don't know, sort of being co-opted or sort of like falling apart. Because I have seen communities fall apart and it's really sad to see. So it's a little bit of like, how do we learn from mistakes and how can we show up like the best versions of ourselves for each other?
Definitely, definitely. And you say not inconveniencing friends. I know people who take Uber just because they don't want their neighbors to know they're leaving the house. They're scared of being robbed. And it's not that they're in bad neighborhoods. It's just, you can scare yourself into just kind of living like all the way in a bubble.
Yeah.
I take Uber because I don't want to wake anybody else up in my house, and I don't want the ladies having to, I'm always leaving in the middle of the night or early morning. But yeah, I get it. I get it. I live in the country of Palm Beach County. My neighbors shoot, so people might be scared to get me sometimes. Out here where we're at. But this is good stuff. Do you ever have any plans of putting this in a book form, course form, how to, really get into the Miami scene, go here, 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 and show people whether them reading or watching?
Yeah, so watching for sure, like I mentioned earlier, the broadcast channel, I think that that's like a project that I've been sort of collecting the pieces. A lot of this is like, I've been doing this for 3 years, and a lot of it's like these big ideas that I'm now like being able to piece together. So we have like a production house that's helping us with it. And we do want to create content and these short like videos about specifically, oh, do you want to find like these hidden gems in Miami? Um, and and yeah, I think too it'll be like the development because a book is sort of um not one there's not one thing that fits all. And that's the thing is like, regardless of your niche interests, you will find there's like a place for you in Miami. And so I think that as the platform grows, it'll become easier for people to find that niche. And I think it's something where like the more you invest in a platform, the more it can give you. So it is like that sort of like reciprocity and like and sort of a give and take. Like the more data you share, the better I am at being able to tell you, okay, here's your perfect day in Miami. Like go to these spots and meet these people. Um, but we do really want to create workshops around like community. We do want to like have sort of I would love to have some sort of like module where it just like shows people here are some things that you can do to really like broaden your horizon. It's sort of like connect with this place because a lot of people, I love meeting people who are born and raised in Miami, because they've seen so much and they know so much about this place that I love. but a lot of them have really like never ventured out and really understood, and even we've gotten the chance to see all that it has to offer. So yeah, I'm like always, anytime I meet someone, I'm like, oh, you should check this place out and this place out and this place out. But there's only one of me, and I want to the tech thing is like, I want to figure out how to do that where we can all do that for each other.
Well, you could always AI yourself. And so whatever, people are coming to your website, they're talking to you and it's about knowledge you've already shared. Or you with the AI, if you're, not opposed, or AI a character. I'm kind of funny about people AIing themselves. It sounds like a bad movie that I've seen, but
we're living in very interesting times. It's like we're counting down to when, I don't know. It's developing too quickly for me to even speculate where we'll be at. All we can do is sort of just build the sort of system that we want to see in the future.
amen to that. Well, let the people know where they can find you. I might have, some tips for my diehard folks who I might go grab some hidden jewels, some cuts for you. Because Miami, South Florida, there's some places that people are like, Killing, how did you find this place? It's not even a sign. I'm intrigued.
Places, please.
Yeah, I'm just nosy. That's all. I'm just nosy. That is it. But let them know where they can find you.
Yeah. So you can find me on my website. It's panamia.club. So PANAMIA.club. You can also find me on Instagram at go2panamia or go2.panamia.club. If you're interested in anything that I had to say, something that I've started recently is just scheduling one-on-ones with anyone who like wants to build in South Florida. So you can always email me as well. First name at panamia.club. I think that's it. The social media platform, please adopt and please check it out. Please give me your honest feedback. And that you can find again at the links in the Instagram.
You guys have gotten the game. I know most of your listeners, and thank you for those on Podbean and Apple. But I want you guys also go put a voice with a face. And I mean, her face, not mine. I can be, I don't have to be known at all. But when you see her in the streets, you can say, hey, and you can bother her with all the questions that sometimes I get. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I know you guys are driving, a lot of you. So will you stop, go over to the YouTube, give it a like, give it a share, no matter how you experience this game. Share it with somebody. It will change their life. You guys, be blessed.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand, or 10,000 Kenyan shillings, or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from King Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.